Hey guys, so not long ago, a couple of days ago, I uploaded a video on my foundations that I keep in my Pro kit. And then I wake up the next morning and Google Plus has taken over YouTube in another fun way. And now it's all kinds of crazy and I can't reply to half of you and it's a big mess up and it's kind of driving me crazy. Really frustrating. I've left a couple comments about it on Facebook, but you can visit that if you'd like to read those. What I'm going to do today, I have your comments here that you've left on the last video. I'm going to be responding to and answering questions that I've gotten. Word of warning before we get started, I am not going to reply to everyone, and I will most likely say your names wrong. So, starting with the comments that I received first, I have one from Blake Norwood who said, as a non-drag male doing makeup videos on YouTube, you've probably been one of my biggest YouTuber inspirations. Yes, men can wear makeup without doing drag. Thank you very much. And thank you. It's a sweet comment. I've gotten that comment before. The only reason I wanted to bring it up, as much as I love you, I want to say you gotta love the queens too. I do. Actually, what I wanted to say, so this made me think of something. You can't say something and have it. It's always going to make me think of something. It's going to make me tell a story. Ask anyone who knows me. For me, it's about being comfortable in your own skin. Whether you're femme, you're butch, doesn't matter. If you are authentically you and you just can't help it, I love that. I love that in people. It doesn't matter what they are. It doesn't matter how they look. It doesn't matter how they act, as long as they are being true to who they are. I actually think it's a very, very attractive quality. That being said, Blake, thank you very much. That was a very sweet thing to say. Going Cohen said, I wish I had as much makeup as you. Ha ha ha, jealous. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I clicked on his thing. Sometimes I will click on people's profiles and see, do they have videos or blah, blah, blah. And he had a video that was a YouTube intervention all about the new comments system and everything that's going on with Google Plus. And it's really funny. I will include a link to the description. I will include a link in the description of this video to his, and you should watch it because I got a huge kick out of it. It made me laugh. Denica17, your favorite brushes video, please. I've been asked this one before, and I may talk about it. I may not. It's hard because I can do my favorites. Can't tell you what you're gonna like, but I can tell you my favorites. So I could probably do that. I also, as a side note, I did get the new MAC brushes that came out this last week or whatever, and I tested these over the weekend, and they're interesting. I want to do a video on them, but I also kind of don't see the point if I can't answer questions, because I know I'm going to get questions on those. So I don't know what I'm going to do with those, but they're here. Debbie Duncan says, what do you think of Laura Mercier Silk Cream or NARS Sheer Glow? I have not used the Laura Mercier foundation, so I couldn't tell you one way or the other. I've used some of the Laura Mercier products and foundations, just not that one. And NARS Sheer Glow, I do not own any NARS products. There's a story there. Ooh, my washer just started. And it says a flood in the house, whoosh. Yeah, one day we'll have margaritas and I'll tell you all about it. But I hold a grudge. Amy He left me a comment. There's no question in it, but I always see you leave comments. So, hey, that's really all. Let's see, who else? A lot of people left me comments. There were two comments that I got again and again, 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 and again and again. Can we do a concealers video that's the same as the foundation video that I just did? Yes, I can. So I'll put that on my list. And then also, how do you use Studio Fix Fluid the right way? And I knew as soon as I said, when I was talking about Studio Fix Fluid, I said, when it's applied correctly, it looks good. I knew as soon as I said those words, I thought, oh God, why did you say it that way? What I meant was, if you find the right way to apply it, I think it's a beautiful foundation. Some people will just use a dry brush, and then it might, if you have to work fast, it might build up, it might get cakey, it might get kind of gummy. A damp sponge might look nice, might work better. I prefer my hands. I use my hands a lot when I'm doing makeup, and I just prefer Studio Fix Fluid with my hands. I can get it on really quick before it starts to dry and really smooth it into the skin, and it erases pores, erases lines, and just looks really, really good. This one I'm going to be really bad with. I Bouquet, I can't say your name, and I'm really sorry, and I feel like if I try, I'm just going to offend you. Hi, Dustin. Please, please, please answer my question. I'm on Accutane now. My acne is gone. I only have red scars under my skin. So I have Face and Body, Studio Fix Fluid, Pro Long Wear, Estee Lauder Double Wear, but I think all of them are too heavy for me. I would be surprised that Face and Body was too heavy for you, just by the way, because it's the only one that's different than the others. But I think all of them are too heavy for me. I want to try Double Wear Light because I think it's oil-free, which it is. What can you suggest for me? Also, Double Wear Light, which powder do I put on my foundation? You can use any powder with any foundation you want. My personal opinion, try it. If you don't like it, try something else. But I don't think that specific powders go better with other foundations. There's some people that are going to disagree with me. That's fine. This is just my belief. Try Estee Lauder Double Wear Light. My recommendation, though, would be, since you've tried all of those, you're just going to have to keep trying. I know that sounds awful, but you're just going to have to keep testing out new products and seeing what might work and what doesn't. I don't think of Face and Body as a heavy foundation at all, though, so that surprises me. If you think that that one is too heavy, then Estee Lauder Double Wear Light is still going to be really, really heavy, because Face and Body is a really light foundation. And it also depends on what people do. Some people think of heavy in a different way. If it's too glowy or too moist or feels too oily, that might feel heavy on people. Other people, too dry, too cakey, completely different finishes is also, they'll describe it as heavy. So it depends on exactly what you're calling heavy. Anna C, what is the lightest foundation you can think of that is actually good? I'm pale enough that I have Max Face and Body White, which is the lightest color. I'm pretty mad, and then you mix that with other foundations. This is good. I was wondering if you knew anything else that came close to this color that was decent on oily skin. I'm going to recommend a foundation that I actually don't use because it's not one of my favorites, but when mixed with other things, the Illamasqua Skin Base, my heat just kicked on and it totally threw me off my game. A lot of people love it. I don't really like it. It's decent. It's their best foundation that they make, but there's other foundations that I think are better. But they make some really, they have a white, and they also have I have number 2, which is pale pink, mixed with any other foundation, does a really good job at lightening it. Really, really good. Love the stuff for that. Otherwise, Face and Body, you're doing a good job. That's the right thing to do. The only other thing that I would recommend is to check out drugstore makeup. Oh no, I know, right? No, that's not for you, that's for me. Drugstore makeup? What? One of the things that I love about drugstore foundations is they have a tendency to come in very pale shades. I'm holding the paper here because I feel like I'm drooling when I'm talking. They come in very pale shades, and it is so easy for me to find like an ivory that actually matches my skin. Some of them are even too light for me, and I'm very pale. So those are my recommendations. I hope that helped. Older Than Me Now says, lovely video, Dustin. Quick question. I'm starting to build my bridal freelance kit. I'm torn between Max Studio Fix Fluid and Pro Long Wear. Which do you recommend? I'm really stuck. Please help X. Well, first of all, it's not called Pro Long Wear. That's what I said. But no, it's a toss-up between the two. I would test them both and see which one... Ignore that. I would test them both and see which one you like to work with, because that, I think, is going to be the determining factor. I love Studio Fix Fluid, so I love to work, and I am familiar with it, so I can manipulate it and I can work with it really well because I like the stuff and I know what it does. Pro Long Wear is a great foundation and it does photograph well. I think Studio Fix Fluid photographs better. That's one thing to keep in mind, but also if you're doing bridal makeup, you want something that's going to last. So test them both out and see which one you prefer working with, and that's the one that I would go with. All right, moving on. I'm going to mess this up again. Sumaya Mara, is that right? Tell me how I say your name. Which is the best foundation for oily skin? I have Max Studio Fix Fluid and it's flawless, but it doesn't stay very well on my skin for a few hours later because my city, it is really hot. I think it's fine with oily skin. You might want to try a primer and see if that helps, but everybody's body is going to react differently to every different product. It's kind of like if you take a medication. This is my analogy that I use all the time. If I took Prozac or Paxil or some sort of antidepressant and you took it, for the same exact symptoms, we're going to have a totally different response. It might do nothing for me and give me diarrhea. It might make you happy and constipated. basically what I'm saying is the same rule applies for foundation. You just kind of have to test some stuff out and see what's going to work best for your skin type and your activity level, your environment, all those types of things. It's a really hard question to just answer directly. XX Good and Evil 17XX says, I'm allergic to silicone. Are there any foundations that you mentioned that are silicone free, or do you have any recommendations for ones that are? Face and Body is definitely silicone free. Studio Fix Fluid is not. Estee Lauder Double Wear does have some, I believe, but most of my favorites have silicone in them. So any recommendations for ones that are silicone free? I'm probably the wrong person to ask, because I'm always going to gravitate towards one that has a high silicone content, not towards one that doesn't, if that makes sense. Though they're definitely out there. Starburst 8503, Dustin, you're awesome. Quick question. Thank you, by the way. I'm just starting out building my kit and it's stressing me out. Any ideas on where to start? Help. No, not really, because no, that sounds awful. You're going to need to get stuff eventually. I would say, though, start with if you're not doing a lot of stage makeup, if you're not doing like drag queens and showgirls and stuff, skip the glitters and all the shiny stuff. If you're doing bridal, focus on those types of products. Skin is always really important, so it's an area that you're going to want to practice to make sure that it looks really good, and that's where you're going to be really focusing in on those basics, those kind of essentials, foundations, and natural looking things, if that's what you're doing. It depends on what you're doing, honestly. It really does. Ravit Reitman says, I don't know if I said that right. I don't know if anybody ever told you that, but you have such a soothing voice. It is so relaxing, and thank you very much. And I have heard that, but not until I started doing videos, actually. Yeah, that's when I first started. No one had really ever said anything here nor there about my my voice, but it's one of my favorite compliments, because it's one that I haven't heard that often. I don't have a voice that projects, I'll tell you that. I'm not a very loud person, and in a crowd, if I shout, it goes about this far and then drops off into oblivion. My voice just gets lost in ambient noise, so yeah, don't wander too far from me, because I won't be able to shout your name. Laura Loves Reality says, LOL, I liked this video within 10 seconds after that cute intro. I am so glad I discovered your channel. I just love you. Can we be friends? Sure. Cat477CK says, and I love the picture, by the way. I can always tell it's you. I love the profile picture. I love Face and Body, Studio Fix, and Revlon's Color Stay. I had questions about Face and Body White. Is it seasonal, or available all? Is it seasonable? Or available all the time? It was sold out when I tried to purchase it around Halloween. Now, I'm guessing that this is because I think that it was launched with the MAC Rick Baker collection as sort of a limited edition item, though it is part of their permanent lineup. It is a pro product, I believe. So you have to go to either a pro store or to the pro section on the MAC Cosmetics website, and there you can find it. Or you can also call a pro store and they'll ship it to you, but it is available year round. Medusa, and you know, this is funny. You said something, and there's no question, and all I was going to do was say, hey, because you comment all the time, and I recognize the name, but I realized, is it V-A-L-L-E? Is it Vale? You see these people's names, and then you never pronounce them out loud, so you don't know how to say it. But hey, anyway, and I'm sorry I butchered your name, and thanks for the comment. Amalia Vet says, I missed the drums at the end. Sad face. Big hugs from Greece. This is for you. Existence VS. For the very first time, I finally bought MAC Face and Body. Okay, this comment is all about them saying that it's a long one. It made them all greasy. So why come my skin so greasy? It is not a satin matte finish foundation. All most people, probably like 99.999% of people, are going to want to powder MAC Face and Body. I don't know if you did that or not. You can also try a primer to see if that helps. It might just not sit well on your skin. There's a possibility of that as well, but it is definitely a very glowy foundation. It stays really liquidy looking. It stays wet looking. It doesn't really dry that much. Yo, Christopher Cameron says, how do you decide which undertones to purchase from each spectrum of the intensities? This is, I think I understand the question, and this is why, like with MAC Foundation, the company that makes cool and warm foundations, I go from light to dark and zigzag back and forth between warm and cool and warm and cool and warm and cool. And I'm not expecting that I'm using one foundation for like a person. I buy like NC20 and then the next one up might be NC40. I'm not just using those alone. The point is that I'm mixing these. I'm mixing across undertones. So I'm mixing the NCs with the NWs. I'm sometimes staying on the cool side, sometimes on the warm side. It totally depends on the person. And I'm custom blending every single foundation that I do. That's why I like working with liquid so much. Lynn had another question about Studio Fix Fluid and applying it properly, which I already addressed, but also how do you prep the skin to ensure the foundation doesn't look cakey or emphasize dry skin? Now, I have very dry skin, and right now with the weather dropping as quickly as I'm trying to read a text while I'm talking. I should have this on silent. With the weather dropping as quickly as it did, it got very, very cold. My skin actually feels kind of like cement. It's awful, and it's peeling really bad. There's a couple different things that you can do. Prepping the skin, primers, moisturizers. I love oils. I have very dry skin, so coconut oil all over my face at night really, really helps. Also, a good... I thought that I had it around here somewhere. A good chemical alpha hydroxy acid exfoliator, really, really good to kind of kick dry skin in the butt. I'm not an esthetician, so I can't really say, hey, this is going to work and this isn't going to work. But it's something, here it is. This is the one that I like. I've talked about this before. This is by Terra Firma. It is their pumpkin glycolic mask, and I really like this stuff. It will do a really good job to help kind of really get through those rough dry patches. And I did a treatment with this last night. I'll do this probably a couple times in a week, and then followed with some CBD cream that you can get if it's legal in your state. ABC says, my skin tone is dry as expletive. Can you recommend me something? The face and body practically gives me no coverage. No, not really, but you can build it. They like Makeup Forever HD. It's decent. Okay, so for dry skin, and I like things like the Korean beauty balms because they're really, really moisturizing. But a lot of foundations that are sort of ultra moisturizing have a tendency to sort of sheer out a little bit, I think, because they have a lot of moisturizing properties to them. A good serum, a good moisturizer, letting it really sink into your skin before you start applying your products, that will help. And just like the question right before this about really helping to correct the dryness as best you can and really take care of it, especially if you have like seasonal dryness like me. And I'm prone to eczema too, so I have dry skin, and it just, in the wintertime, it really, really, really flares up. Okay, moving on. Rachel Green, you asked a question about foundation for people who are very fair. Guitar Soloist 07, you answered that question. Thank you very much. Rachel, go read that question. It makes sense to me. Charisma B and Carmela MUA, you both left comments and then both replied to each other's comments. It doesn't look like you really meant to, but you did, and that's okay. If you did, I'm sorry, but if you didn't, thank you, Google+. That was fun to look at. Charlotte Farr, have you ever used Estee Lauder Double Wear Light in a beauty shoot? Just wondering if it photographs well in a studio too. Yes, it does. All of the foundations that I use photograph, I think, brilliantly. It wouldn't be the first one that I would choose specifically for a beauty shoot. That would be Studio Fix Fluid, but it does do the job quite well. Baby Cake 390, you left me a comment. You didn't leave me a question. I've got nothing to say to it, but hey, BABYCAKE 390, one of my favorite YouTubers. Carolina Duval, oh, this is like that other one. Hey, sweet, how are you? Thanks, I'm okay. I love your videos. I'm an MUA too, and I love moi. I love to use MUFE. I always want to say Moofy, which is fine because people do. I use Makeup Forever HD Foundation, Dior Forever, and Graftobian. I would like to hear your opinion on these ones. Thanks a lot. Big kiss, Carol. Mwah. Okay, Makeup Forever HD I have used. I don't have it in my kit because honestly I don't need any more foundations. But if I was just to maybe buy some more and stock my kit with something extra, it would be one that would be on my list, along with Face Atelier's foundation. Really like that one. It's another one that I just don't have in my kit. Graftobian I have not used, so I can't comment one way or the other. Dior Forever I have also not used, but Dior's Capture Total is the only foundation that I've ever used on someone and then had them actually buy it from me after I used it because they didn't want to not have it the next day. It's a beautiful foundation and I do really like it. It's just a little spendy, so I tend to not keep it in my kit. Rakelshik. There you go. I don't know how you say that. I went to MAC and they said they don't have full coverage foundation. Studio Fix was medium coverage. Okay, well, maybe to someone who's working at MAC, Studio Fix is medium coverage, but to most of us who don't dress like drag queens about to go forth into a hurricane and we need our makeup to last on through all of that, it's kind of a full coverage foundation. It's a medium to full coverage foundation, and they do make a full coverage foundation because they actually make one that is called full coverage foundation, so you can tell them they're a dirty liar and I said so. Ronnie Chops, I haven't been able to find a foundation that I really love yet, but I've considered Max Face and Body for a while. What's it like on oily combo skin? Thanks, Hun XX. I think that it's really, really good on oily or combination skin, but again, it stays really wet. It's kind of glowy, really glowy, so you're probably gonna want to use some sort of a powder with it. But I really like it. I just really do. Natalia Rodriguez, are mousse foundations okay for dry skin? What's the best way to apply it? I tried one you didn't like. Yes, they're fine for dry skin, in my opinion. I think it's not so much the texture that would be the problem, it's the product that you use you might not have liked. So give some others a try and see what you think. Mr. Lives, yay, you're back. I hope anyway. And yeah, but I also uploaded a couple days ago. If you didn't notice, then that's just YouTube's wonderful subscription service doing its wonderful wonders yet again. Hey, thanks though. Hey, Strawberry, hi. But don't you find, I love that you start but, like we're having this conversation, but excuse me, but don't you find that MAC's foundations have funny colors? I find that they have really pronounced pink or yellow undertone, like they don't have enough neutrals. This is true, they don't make any neutrals really. That's why I bounce back and forth from the NCs to the NWs and then kind of mix and see what works. But yeah, they can have some funny colors. Some of the colors are a little bit wonky, but I don't know. I haven't had any problems with them really. I don't know. I just wanted to say hi, really. That's why I'm talking. Track Peters, thanks, Dusty. I love foundations. Well, thank you for the comment, and I'm glad you love foundations too. And you always comment, so I wanted to say hi. Alicia D372. I definitely did the same with book reports, because I said I didn't read. No reading the entire book here. I really tried to like MAC Studio Fix Fluid, but found it to be so yellow. Use Revlon Color Stay all the time, and you absolutely love it, you said. Studio Fix Fluid does have a tendency to oxidize especially on oily skin types. I don't know what your skin type is, but even people who don't have oily skin say that stuff oxidizes really bad. I have not personally had a problem with it, but that's one that if you have oily skin, then you're prone to oxidizing. That's when the product interacts with the oxygen and starts to turn a funky color. That one does it really bad for a lot of people. So it wouldn't be uncommon for that to turn a little yellow on you or a little darker than it was when you first applied it. Recommendations are to use a primer if you still have it and you want to try it, or to try a shade that's a little bit lighter, and you can do that with a tester and see, but it might just be something that's not suited for you, and that's okay too, because it looks like you found one that is, and that's good news. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I do appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, do not leave them here. You can leave me comments. I will read them, but I'm not going to be replying to anything because it is far too confusing and it's driving me crazy. So send me a message. I'll post this video on Facebook too. Send me a message. Leave me a comment there. Leave me a comment on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. You can ask me questions there. There's numerous ways to talk to me until I figure out a different way to do this, because I'm not liking the comment system. I still want to interact with people. I need to kind of figure out how we're going to do this. What I'd like to do is find a good mobile app, some sort of like a chat app or forum app where people can sort of chat beseech. I want the YouTube comment system on my phone so I can see and reply to people, and people can also like reply and talk to other people and stuff. That's what I would like. But I don't know if anyone would use it but me, and then I'd be all alone in a little room talking to myself like I am right now. All right, I will see you soon, and until I see you next time, which will be soon, please take care, and remember, drive safe.